Micromega is focused on the provision of information technology, financial, occupational health and safety, and the labour supply services, of course. Micromega subsidiaries include NOSA, Mecs Africa, Micromega Securities, Sebata, Turrito and Deltec Power. None of those mean anything to me at all. Hopefully Keith's going to unpack it. The company has a market cap of 305 million rand and a price to earnings ratio of 8. Well, I don't recognize any of those brands. Am I just very ignorant?
Well, shall I run through it very quickly?
Yes.
Let's start with Turrito. Turrito is essentially their own part of it, and it's essentially built the cloudware solution. And cloudware, you've heard of cloud computing. The cloudware is an approach to cloud computing, and they've got all the IP around it, and now that they've done all the R&D, they're going out into the field to sell it. So Turrito, in Micromega's case, is actually the blue sky. Then you've got the core of Micromega that has really become the cash cow, and that's NOSA. And NOSA is really one of these verification of safety standards. It goes out and it checks that all these businesses comply with safety standards, consults into that. It really is the market of safety standards in South Africa. And what they're trying to do there is, and it's simple, it's very comfortable, it doesn't really have competitors. So
it's got a good sturdy moat.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying right
Absolutely,
here.
but it is the safety market in South Africa, so it also doesn't have necessarily growth potential. That becomes almost the cash cow in their portfolio. Then you've got a couple little ones. You've got Deltec. Deltec is really, it's
difficult to explain.
Well,
Craig, do you know anything about Deltec down in Cape Town?
Well, I think the two companies that he's spoken about is really what the focus is, because they've sold out the automotive parts. I really agree with Turrito, lots of potential. They signed a contract with Super Group, a couple of local municipalities, etc. The other holdings I don't think are as significant. NOSA is really the cash cow, used to be government. Their training part you can't ignore, because they make a lot of money out of training on health and safety. And of course you've got the Occupational Health and Safety Act on their side, legislations on their side, and there's a lot of companies they can still roll their services out to in South Africa, and they are getting into the African continent, even into Asia. They've just brought in some guys from China, so there's a lot happening, and both parts of that business excite me, and from that point of view I don't think it's even necessary to discuss these smaller insignificant
Keith, you were saying you were worried about the growth prospects. Now, well, it sounds as though they're quite exciting from what Craig is putting on the table.
Yes, yes and no. I can understand on NOSA's side, that really at this point is contributing the weight of profits in Micromega's group. It's very comfortable profits, it's very good margins, very minimal competition and good barriers to entry. And the theory is you bring on parallel and related services in the local market so that you can sell more of NOSA, and you would have seen that they have working at Hearts that they sold into, I think it was Transnet, which is another addition. And then the other growth strategy is that they take NOSA as a brand into other countries. And China is growing very fast, and you know, arguably its safety standards aren't really up to scratch. So it's a big growth market. But that's on paper. We'll see how they execute on that, and I'm still fairly neutral on management on that point. Turrito, though, is a fairly good product, but it isn't necessarily profitable at this point. That's the blue sky. If they can sell it, then it just drops straight to the bottom line. If they can't, it just simply doesn't. And Super Group being one contract is nice, but one contract doesn't make a business. Exactly.
One swallow doesn't make a summer. Let's take it that far. Craig, hot or not on Micromega?
Well, look, I think I'm going to back Dave King, who's now come back to the business, although he's got a shady reputation in terms of tax and what happened to specialised outsourcing. I think he could get a few things right. It's not for widows and orphans, but I'd say it's worth looking at, yeah.
All right, well, a good caveat there, not for widows and orphans, so hot, but with that caveat. Keith?
I like the Turrito solution. We're working through the tech sector. It's actually quite a viable, in my opinion, cloud solution. And so I do think, and I'll give Turrito the benefit of the doubt. NOSA, though, won't. I don't necessarily think that you can export this product into other countries. There's too many complications with standards and safety and.
So what does that mean overall? Hot or not on Micromega?
So it all kind of balances out. But you're looking at a company that's trading at a 13 to 14 times price earnings that does have certain, and Craig touched on them, certain qualitative concerns. I'm actually going to go against it at this point. I like the concepts. Don't like the valuation.
Not hot.